The other man on the street says that, Mr. President Mahama, please note that complaining and campaigning is over. We are in solution time now. Ghana finished reading the book of Lamentations on the 7th of December, 2024, by voting for you to solve the country's problems. We did not vote for you to come and complain. Kindly focus on implementing all the solutions you promised in your manifesto. You cannot shift our minds from this. We are fed up with the complaints.
You take an economy which already has been restructured, and you need to find 280 billion Ghana cedis from day one. Of course, you can only lament. You cannot be praising and be singing tunes. But Mr. Speaker, when you inherit an economy where every week, you have to borrow and pay a debt of 6.5 billion a week, certainly that is not the type of economy you expect the president to come and be clapping hands for. But Mr. Speaker, when you inherit an economy where ECG, after all the tariff increases, where people buy even credit, and they get home and they are afraid to slot their card, because immediately you put the card in the current, you want the president to come here and clap for you for that type of economy. And on top of that, you are still owing 68 billion Ghana cedis. Are you not scared that you left this type of economy for His Excellency? If His Excellency appears at a time when Cocoa Board is owing 3.25 billion, 32.5 billion, and already has commitments of about 21 billion, cumulatively 55 billion is what you left for him. This is not a tea-making party. And you want him to come here and be clapping for you. And when he tells the people of Ghana, this is the economy you have left, you said that is lamentation. Mr. Speaker, Baomia Bako, if you
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You have been a reckless government. You have run this country down totally, and you found your voices all of a sudden. So even 6 months, you are talking again. You are talking about taxes again. Yet you've only been away for 2 months. Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, conclude.
This is a serious situation that we are in. And at the moment, we cannot actually go to the capital market. And we shouldn't. When we were in government and we were taking, the first Eurobond was taken by President Akuffo, 750 million. Subsequently, 1 billion was taken by the NDC government, I think 3 different tranches. Now, what did you do? You came into office and you started with 3 billion euro bond. What NDC government would have taken in 3 years? Have you forgotten that President Akuffo 750 was paid by the NDC government by putting money in a sink fund to do that? You have saddled this country with money. And I will beg you not to be talking about debt. It was rich from President Nana Akuffo Addo on his State of the Nation, the last one. Quite laughable that we should make sure we don't default. The president who has presided over borrowing, who has unilaterally decided not to pay its debt from 2022, who was not paying any interest, never paid any, was telling us, was telling President Mahama that he should not default. You have found your voices early, and you have to take your time, because you will be in opposition. Ghanaians have not forgotten. You will be in opposition for a very long time. Because what you have done. Ghanaians will not forget you so soon. It doesn't matter how much noise you make. It doesn't matter what you call yourself, a mighty minority.
Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, you have 1 more minute.
Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I move that this August House adopt. Thanks the President for the State of the Nation address. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Honorable members, the motion to thank His Excellency, the President, on the State of the Nation has been moved. Any seconder?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I hope my honorable friend he remembered the song Koku Frimpong or the Asembeba. I hope you remember that song very well. We had a very beautiful morning, and Koku Frimpong has decided to bring trouble into this house. So you listen. Koku Cricket. Cricket there. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my friend from Cape Coast South constituency. I said Koku Ricket. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dominic Nitiwul. The name is George Kweku Ricket Hagan.
Ricket and Ricket is the same.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the correction, but nothing takes away from the fact that he should remember the song Koku Frimpong or the Asembaba. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, I am very shocked about the supposed harsh words that he is attempting to place on the last 8 years on the managers of the economy and the country as a whole. If these words that he has spoken are that harsh, and he believes that this is a true judgment, I want to give him just about 4 or 5 or even 6 items for you to compare. If you describe the 2017 to 2024 this harshly, what would you describe 2009 to 2016 economy? Because, Mr. Speaker, the MPP record of economic growth under Akuffo Addo is higher than what we came to meet under Mahama. Mr. Speaker, the record of per capita income is higher than what we came to meet. Mr. Speaker, the record of agricultural growth is higher than what we came to meet. Mr. Speaker, the record of industrial growth and the MPP Akuffo Addo is higher than what you came to meet. Mr. Speaker, the record of job creation is higher than what you came to meet. It's higher. Ours is higher than what we met. Mr. Speaker, the record of fiscal deficit is higher than yours. The record on primary balance, and my sister will expatiate, is higher than yours. The record on trade balance is higher than yours. In fact, the record on current account balance is higher than yours. Mr. Speaker, the record of gross international reserves are higher than yours. Mr. Speaker, the MPC record of cumulative exchange rate depreciation is higher than yours. So, Mr. Speaker, when he describes this economy on the terms he has described, what would you describe the John Mahama economy? It's worse than Chaskele. If what you are describing that is so bad, and all the major indicators of the economy is higher than what we came to meet, what would you describe John Mahama? In spite of that, he has become president again. And you think this side we cannot rule? When we compare the indicators, you don't compare. But Mr. Speaker, I read from the president when he says, I have not come here to lament the state of our country. Though there's much to lament, I understand why I was elected with such high voter confidence to solve their problems. That's what the president said, that it is not his style to lament and to shift blame. But unfortunately, 80% of the speech was to lament and to speak blames. But Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, I have a message from the ordinary man on the street. The ordinary man on the street says that, Mr. President Mahama, please note that complaining and campaigning is over. We are in solution time now. Ghana finished reading the Book of Lamentations on the 7th of December, 2024, by voting for you to solve the country's problems. We did not vote for you to come and complain. Kindly focus on implementing all the solutions you promised in your manifesto. You cannot shift our minds from this. We are fed up with the complaints. You made us believe you can solve Ghana's problems, and we voted for you. Your complaints are too much. If you cannot use the power we have given you to solve the problems you complain about, let us know, Mr. President. Mr. President, so Mr. Speaker, to start with, we inherited an economy that was in decline. Check the growth rate of that economy. The banking sector was in distress. Then unquestionable power sector contracts were signed, suddenly as with a debt of over $1.5 billion at that time. 19 of them. We had turbulence in the global economy. Everybody knows. He knows he's an economist and he knows. But still, under Nana Adongo Akuffo Addo, in 8 years, we created 2.3 million jobs from 2017. Mr. Speaker, we initiated and oversaw the construction and rehabilitation of more railway than any other government in our history. Mr. Speaker, we constructed more public libraries than any other government since 1992. Mr. Speaker, we constructed more fishing landing sites than any other government since 1992. Mr. Speaker, we constructed 2 major fishing harbors in Elimina and Jamestown. Mr. Speaker, we constructed more sanitation facilities than any other government since 1992. Mr. Speaker, we constructed more sporting facilities than any other government since 1992. Mr. Speaker, we resourced the Ghana Armed Forces, we resourced the Ghana Police, and increased the capacity than any other government since 1992. Mr. Speaker, we abolished your wicked and inhuman 3 months arrears policy for teachers and cleared all those arrears. Mr. Speaker, we restored the teaching and nursing training allowance that were cancelled under President Mahama. Mr. Speaker, we introduced free education for all children. We never asked for category A schools, neither do we ask for category B schools. My little brother from a village and Nyama, a small village, is now in Infant and Pip Secondary School. They don't pay anything. Mr. Speaker, we increased livelihood empowerment against poverty called LEAP program from 49 million Ghana cedi under Mahama to 4 in 2016 to 423 million Ghana cedi in 2023. 49 million to 423 million. That is the record you are inheriting. That is what you've been measured against. That is the economy you are describing as bad and wasteful. So, Speaker, we increased expenditure on the National Health Insurance Scheme from 1.1 billion in 2016 to 6.8 billion in 2024. Mr. Speaker, we introduced the largest medical drone service in the world, so efficiently done. Do you want me to remind you that I saved the life of your chairman? Today, you describe this economy as bad. Measure up to it. Mr. Speaker, we doubled the number of student loan repayments from 30,000 on average per year before its introduction to 58,000 as we stand today. Mr. Speaker, we registered over 18 million people for the Ghana card, a project you blatantly refused and felt it was not important. Today, all tax identification, slates, driver licenses, public payroll, criminal records, SIM card are all interlinked to make your life easy. Mr. Speaker, we substantially increased and augmented the strength of all security services across, from the armed forces to the police service, to Ghana Immigration Service, to the prison service, to the fire service, to NADMO, to ambulance service, all of them. We increased their numbers and resourced them. That is what you are meeting. That is why we confidently say that you inherited a very peaceful country, second in only in Africa. That is what you inherited. Mr. Speaker, we made investments in all the security services across the whole country. We introduced, through the Zongo Development Fund, and constructed infrastructure across all Zongo communities, including yours. We paid the outstanding pension funds contributions of the public sector workers we inherited. We established 5 greenhouses at the Winya to enhance vegetable cultivation. We passed the Right to Information Act.
Yes, and implemented it.
We passed the Affirmative Action Act, which you just referred today. Mr. Speaker, we completed and commissioned phase 2 and 3 of the Prempeh, the first international airport in Kumasi project, involving the construction of a new terminal building capable of handling 1 million passengers yearly, including the car park, apron, and all access routes. Phase 1 of the Sunyani airport rehabilitation, and upgraded and commissioned the Yakubu Tali International Airport in Tamale. But, Mr. Speaker, I'll come to address what the honorable member said. But I just want to quote the chairman of the NDC. In 2017, when President Nana Adongo Akuffo Addo came to this house, and I quote, "Whatever it is, I am not interested in arguing about the statistics of otherwise of statistics. I am not interested in arguing about the correctness or otherwise of statistics. The bottom line is that whatever terms you describe the economy today, you were fully aware of its state before making your promises. So I will not use the statistics to form the basis of justifying. And so I hope he, in this case President Mahama, will not use the statistics to form the basis of justifying when or why he will not be able to implement the promises you promised. We are going to hold you responsible. That is the chairman of the NDC. But Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, 3 things before I sit. First, to the Education Minister, that the GS Director General is overstepping his bounds.
Honourable Member, your time is up. I then proceed to give the floor to Honourable
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Isaac Adongo. Honourable Isaac Adongo, the time is 15 minutes past 3. You have 15 minutes. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to contribute to the debate to thank His Excellency the President for delivering a very inspiring message of the nation to Parliament. Of course, my colleague has said it. It's obvious that Akuffo Addo the Assembly. Mr. Speaker, it is only under this government that when Bawumia digitalizes in Samanfo, Eji Kronufa, you digitalize to bring forth ghosts at national service. That is what your digitalization is about. Mr. Speaker, Bawumia Bako in Samanfo Bebre. Mr. Speaker, to it, one Bawumia 1,000 ghosts. Mr. Speaker, we live in a country where after 8 years, some people cannot show us a completed, functioning hospital. All they have are uncompleted projects and at various stages of completion. We have been hearing various stages of completions till 2017. When are you going to complete them? Of course, Bawumia Bako uncompleted projects, baby. But Mr. Speaker, when you leave an economy that is struggling to pay its debts, you want us to invite you to a banquet? An economy where your debt strategy was to borrow recklessly, default in payment, and declare bankruptcy. Do you want the president to come smiling when he's delivering this gloomy picture that you have given him? If that amounts to lamentation, then so be it, because you left him an economy that can only be lamented upon. But Mr. Speaker, when you have an economy where ab initio from day one, everywhere you turn are debts. You take an economy which already has been restructured, and you need to find 280 billion Ghana cedis from day one. Of course, you can only lament. You cannot be praising and be singing tunes. But Mr. Speaker, when you inherit an economy where every week, you have to borrow and pay a debt of 6.5 billion a week, certainly that is not the type of economy you expect the president to come and be clapping hands for. But Mr. Speaker, when you inherit an economy where ECG, after all the tariff increases where people buy even credit, and they get home and they are afraid to slot their card, because immediately you put the card in the current, you want the president to come here and clap for you for that type of economy. And on top of that, you are still owing 68 billion Ghana cedis. Are you not scared that you left this type of economy for His Excellency? If His Excellency appears at a time when Cocoa Board is owing 3.25 billion, 32.5 billion, and already has commitments of about 21 billion. Cumulatively, 55 billion is what you left for him. This is not a tea-making party. And you want him to come here and be clapping for you. And when he tells the people of Ghana, this is the economy you have left, you say that is lamentation. Mr. Speaker, Baomia Bako, baby. If you pass through ECG, there is debt. Cocoa board, debt. Government of Ghana, the treasury in the Ministry of Finance. In fact, I think Akuffo Addo may have to convert that ministry into a debt-paying ministry. Because every day, whether he has job to do or not, every Thursday, he must go to the Bank of Ghana and auction to be able to raise money to refinance your mess. And you are here holding press conferences for creating the mess that he's trying to clean for you. I heard my good friend at the back that was saying that it is scary. You have given us a caricature of an economy. What to fear in our economy is the type of picture you have created for us. And when His Excellency says that, you say that is lamentation. Mr. Speaker, they gave us a lamentable economy, and that is the only state of the nation that His Excellency can speak to. But Mr. Speaker, when you have a group of people who have been so reckless to the point of finding it difficult to understand, and when you decide to put a stop to their recklessness, they call you a terminator. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately for them, the man who inherited their mess is a ruthless terminator. Mr. Speaker, John Mahama is a terminator of ghosts at NSA. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency John Mahama came to terminate your mess just here, the 58 million hole that you left for him. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency came to terminate corruption. He came to terminate the waste in the economy. He came to terminate the rental of private jets that you were so accustomed to. Mr. Speaker, we have a president who terminated all the wrongs that had occasioned the management of our economy. The destruction and collapse of our banks have been terminated by His Excellency. You should be praising him for terminating the messy economy that you left for him. And we are now on the path to a proper growth that is inclusive and that will create jobs for our people. And you should be praising His Excellency for that foresight. Mr. Speaker, we have a country where our colleagues, they borrowed to the extent that every corner where they were giving Susu loans, they were there. Susu loans, they were interested. In fact, Kojo Pokroma, I remember you were the information minister when you were trying to educate me on what is called Samurai bond, Panda bond, Century bond. Mr. Speaker, these are the people. They were experts in bonds. When you ask Kojo, he said, oh, this is Samurai bond, it is in Japan. They knew every corner where they were giving loans. Panda bond. Kojo, are they still giving the panda bonds? They said something was called Century. Mr. Speaker, there was actually a bond called Century bond. Century bond. Mr. Speaker, Baomia Bako bonds baby. But what is even painful is that they don't pay. Theirs is Takashi debt management record. Borrow recklessly, default in payment, issue to whom it may concern, and declare bankruptcy. And the descendants of this type of government are here holding press conferences. Holding press conferences. I have seen my leader is here. You should lead your team to a Futu to find a river where they will wash off their sins before they come back here. There was a musician who said, Muma me supporting seminar na mi jam hu fin with them. There are the people there. A Futu, I'm sure you have a seat there. Take them there and go and wash your sins. Because what you did is not acceptable anywhere in the world. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is the savior of our economy. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has brought the good news. The 24-hour economy is coming. Mr. Speaker, agric mechanization centers are coming to create proper agriculture production for our economy. Mr. Speaker, women are jubilating because we are bringing the Women's Development Bank to provide tailored credit to our women. Mr. Speaker, our Zongo women are waiting for the Soyoya Fund to provide credit to our women in the Zongo communities. We are not going to set up a Zongo Development Fund or a Zongo Development Ministry, but we'll have better impact in the Zongo communities than you have been able to think about. Mr. Speaker, our youth are unemployed, and we are very clear what we want to do. We are in a generation of technology, and we want to bring the 1 million coders program, where our children are going to be taught to develop a career in ICT. The artificial intelligence that is passing us by will be arresting them and bringing it to our youth here. Machine learning will be part of our work, and data coding will be one of our things that we'll be doing in our country. Don't forget that we built the data center. We built the digital center, and we are going to do business process outsourcing to recruit over 1,000 of our youth into ICT, in addition to the coding program. Mr. Speaker, for your information, today, your Minister for Transport is in Rwanda, learning best practices to come and formalize Okada transport to help you manage your traffic. That is the government that we are working on. And you need to understand that your mess, it is because of Okada, Ghanaians showed you the way and gave you a deficit of 1.7 million votes. You have still not learned your lessons. You have still not learned your lessons. But Mr. Speaker, there is only one group of people who are capable of turning this country around. We are the descendants of His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings. We are the only group of people who has managed the most difficult economic era in the history of our country. In 1983, when Ghanaians arrived here from Nigeria and we couldn't even find food to eat, the descendants of the NDC, Jerry John Rawlings, fixed the mess and will turn this country around. And we will do just that now. And we will make sure by the time His Excellency John Dramani Mahama leaves office, it will be very clear to you that it is not how long you stay in power, but it's the impact you make once you're in power. And that he will do what you couldn't do in 8 years, he will do it in 4 years and even more. And that is what we are focused on delivering to the people of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, we are beginning to build the next generation of leaders for our country. Just look around the ministers we have appointed. You can see our focus on youth and our focus on women. And the aim is to build the next generation of leaders, not just for the NDC, but for our country. And that if you are a young man and you want to aspire for the future, the best place to come is the NDC, because NDC gives opportunities to the youth. It is only in NDC that people like Sami Jefi will be given very huge appointments. It is only in NDC that Basentale will be leading the youth of our country. It is only in NDC that Opariado would be a minister, a cabinet minister. Mr. Speaker, a minister is the cabinet, the cabinet now, sorry, a minister. The important thing is that when you were in government, Kojo was about the youngest man in your government. Kojo, come to this side, because we will give you more opportunities as the National Democratic Congress. Mr. Speaker, at this point in time, it is safe to say that when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama appeared in this house, a new dawn had fallen on our country. We had moved away from the kind of economic management that was based on sloganeering. We will digitalize. Today, can you show me your digital blueprint after 8 years? Where is your digital blueprint? Your digitalization was in the head of one man roaming around. What if a car crashes his head? That is the kind of digitalization you were running. Mr. Speaker, we were in a country where, Mr. Speaker, we are in a country where Ghana card,
Frimpong.
we are in a country where Ghana card actually captures the data of a human being. And when the human being himself appears, they say, where is your Ghana card? What type of digitalization is that? That you digitalize, take my biodata on a card, and when I appear, I'm not important, but the card that is lying at home is important. Go to your bank today and not carry your Ghana card. We'll make sure that there is proper digitalization so that when you appear at the bank, you can access your digital data and be processed, and that is digitalization. That is going to be spearheaded by a blueprint that will inform our actions on digitalization. Not a walk-alone digitalization in the head of one man called Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal le Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV. I see say a lot of people are moving from the traditional media to the social media. And PENDREAM, you are setting the pace because you bring the issues as they are. And the those are the issues. And then UNIPA are not ready for just ordinary endorsement. But people want to hear the issues. What are the issues? What are the possible solutions? So for me, I'm endorsing PENDREAM TV. And I'm recommending, say, Obi Biana who feels traditional media and why you're bored with it, I'm going to live up to expectation. Your next last stop, PENDREAM TV.